The next thing would be to sew in the signatures. I have a piece of hemp cord here. If you can see, it's coming untwisted on that end. The hemp cord is really thick, so you have to use a needle with a large eye, and sometimes it just takes a few tries and a little bit of patience to get the needle threaded. There, I finally got all of the pieces through the needle. That is the hardest part. For binding the pages in, if I'm doing just a one signature, I don't really use any kind of a guide or template. You just want to put the papers, make sure they're right in the center. Now, see this fabric, see how it's puckering right there? That's a little bit annoying. Just make sure it's folded down into the crease. And we're going to make sure our paper is right in the center, and take the awl and try to get in the very center and push it through. It's not very hard at all when you're using so few pages. I like for my strings to hang on the outside, so I'm going to go in from the outside first. I hold the pages in place really carefully after putting the awl in, and the more pages you have, the trickier that part is. That can be the hardest part. Sometimes I lay it in my lap so that I have a base underneath all of the pages, and then turn the book over and pull this big needle through. If you're working with a lot of pages, something else you might need if you're going to use hemp cord and a big needle is some pliers. Now, I'm low on hemp cord too. I'm going to have to buy some today when I'm out. So I didn't cut a piece as long as I normally do. It's going to be okay though. The next thing to do is to put a hole. I try to go halfway between the bottom of the page and that first hole that I put in. This one's easy because we're going to put the needle in from the inside. And pull it right through. Something about this, so let's make sure that's taut on the inside. One of the tricky things about this center, going back through this center hole, is that you don't want to put the needle through the thread. If you do that, you're going to weaken your thread, whatever kind you're using, and it's also going to make it so that one of these pieces won't move. So I pull this piece and hold it with the bottom of the journal. And if you pull up this way just a little bit, because you don't want to tear your pages up, it kind of pulls that string to the bottom of the hole and leaves you, more room up here. So I'm going to try to go in next to that string. And before I pull the needle through, I'm going to make sure that string still moves, and it does. The more pages you're working with, the harder that can be. And sometimes I take the awl and stick it through again next to this string just to find the hole again. So let's pull that right through, and let's find all of our strings. So that one stays out. I had pulled this one just a little bit, so let's get that back into place. There we go. Just make sure everything's tight. And then the last one, again, I'm going to go halfway between. And that's another easy one. I like putting the strings on the outside for a number of reasons. Now, let's take the needle out. This gave me plenty of cord to work with. I need to adjust things a little bit though, because I want this string, I want them to be about the same. Let's see. This is one of the reasons you want your string to be able to move. So let's just, and let me show you how I tie. So if you tie one knot and just put your finger into place, you can do this. You're going to have two fingers free. So I usually do a double, loop that around twice for the second one, and can just keep pulling that right up under your finger so that you don't put any slack into the cord. You pull it really tight. If you want to make sure that it's not going to go anywhere, you can put a tiny little drop of glue like you do if you're working with elastic cord with beads or whatever, and tie it one more time. It's on the outside, so that's okay. It's not going to put a big knot in the center of your journal. So there you have a completed journal ready to work in, and you can do as many pages as you like. That, of course, is the center, hopefully. Sometimes I have gone so quickly that I didn't pay attention to having all of my papers together, and instead of them all being on top of each other and folded, I would have one folded and laying in the center, and then it falls right out. Yeah, it's easy to get in a hurry and do things like that, at least for me. I usually have too much going on though. That's okay, I like to stay busy. You can leave the threads hanging. That has gotten really popular lately. I like that for some journals. Or you can trim them, and you're going to have some fraying or some unraveling. That is okay. So this journal is done except for putting some charms on the threads. We want this one to feel pretty, natural, like a field notebook, and we're studying the butterflies. I'm going to use these mushroom beads. Oh my goodness, I have enjoyed these so much. I'm going to have to buy some more of these, I can tell. I like working with waxed linen as well to bind the journals. I really do. I need to order some more. For this other one, I'm going to use a large bead that it's got this pretty design. I think I'm going to use this one. It almost looks like, I just don't know if, I don't think it's going to take away too much from the natural look because it looks a little bit like butterfly wings. And I like to tie them at different levels instead of having them, you know, hanging at the same level and just knocking into each other. So that journal is done and it's ready to go. Let's go ahead and work on this second one. So we've got everything into place, and just to go through the process again, I'm going to go ahead and bind this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're not using many pages. We are going to try the stapler. I'm going to put paper clips on these pages to put them into place. We have to get this all the way to the center and make sure that it's even. There's one. And then let's do the next one. Move that out of the way. 2, 3. So then what I would do, stapler like that, it's only going to handle about 5 pages. I would come into the inside of this and press those staples down as much as you can so that they really hold. That went through a lot of fabric, especially the one on the bottom, to reinforce where the staples are and to also give you some, you know, some cord or something you can hang a charm on. You can actually take some thread or yarn, that's a really natural yarn, and run it through the signature, and it's, you know, it's going to pull on the fabric a little bit depending on how tight you tie it, like here, but that, it really is okay. I think the more used and worn and loved a journal looks, the more beautiful it becomes. I'm going to go ahead and tie this in a knot. This might change the type of charms that you want to use. I really like using keys and just all sorts of bits and bobs, and this opening on the key is so large you could definitely put yarn through there. And let's just tie a knot here, and then for the other one, let's find something that just feels like it could have been found outside while searching. Let's add a couple of, let's add these two things. We will say that the butterfly collector's found these when they were out searching. That gives it kind of a natural look. And we'll cut these off a little bit. So we have two journals, one that is completely no sewing, and the other one where you sew the cover and sew in the signatures. And that really did not take long at all. In the next video, I will show you what I'm going to do with these. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.